Everybody, we are live. Welcome to this one. In just a few minutes, we will be joined by my friend and client, Tim, to talk about the Unstoppable Songwriter and all the wonders that can do for a songwriter's craft. It's an 8-week program that I devised from my own methods, self-taught methods that I used to become unstoppable as a songwriter. I see Tim's joined the live, so just maybe ask to join the live. Hey, Mestre, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Caio. Yeah, Tim, maybe ask to join the live just when the clock strikes 7. That is 9 your time, 7 p.m. GMT. I'll just do a little intro right now to make sure everybody knows what's going on. Everybody who's watching this on the replay, we're talking about the Unstoppable Songwriter. It's an 8-week program, like I said, all about improving songwriters' sense of structure, perhaps working on mindset issues that come up when songwriters start thinking about music theory. It's a big taboo, big no-no word in the songwriting business because a lot of songwriters tend to want to do this without really knowing what they're doing because they feel like there's some kind of magic in not knowing the structure and kind of discovering it as you go along. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the best way to do it, and clearly it's not, because you do get better at stuff the more you know about stuff. Quite simply put. And so this week is your opportunity to join in the next round of the Unstoppable Songwriter. This 8-week program is starting with 6 songwriters. Next week, that is August 19th, that's the Monday. So we'll get together, we'll decide when we all get together and start the program. And it's on a special discount just this week. There are 4 spots left remaining. It's first come, first serve, so whoever jumps on the opportunity first gets the spots, and the rest need to wait till who knows when. Yeah. So that's what we'll be talking about. Tim was in the program earlier this year and did an amazing job, and it was beautiful to see some of the results that he got from joining the program, from applying himself and really doing the work and kind of getting into a playful mindset when it came to learning all this theory. It can be so easy to resist learning this because we have limiting beliefs. We're kind of scared of making fools of ourselves when we're learning something that we feel like we're not naturally good at. And so I do a lot of work with my clients around that kind of mindset stuff as well. So, Tim, let me know if you're having problems joining. I'm expecting you any second now, but no stress. Thanks everybody who's joining the live. Nice to see you all here. I'm gonna give everybody a wave. There we go. Hello, my dear Tim, my dear friend. What is up?
Jimmy. How are you?
Very good, man. Uh,
Yeah, you.
Back in Iceland now,
Yeah,
finally. Not sure if we talked about this. I'll be spending a couple months here. 2 months, in fact, in Iceland.
cool.
Got my grandma's apartment here all to myself while she's in Sweden, and just spending time reconnecting with my family and friends finally. I almost never get to spend such a long time here. All like during one visit. I'm trying to say, trying to find my English words here. Um, so I'm having a great time. Thanks. How about you?
Cool. Yeah. I'm just enjoying the high temperatures here. This must be a little bit cooler at your side of the ocean.
Yes, I'm grateful. Honestly, I was waiting for that. For those who don't know, I lived in Brazil the entirety of last year, or just about the last 10 months, and I was really suffering there during the summer. That was that was a hard time for an Icelander to be in
Yeah,
Brazil, to be in the tropical climate.
yeah,
Uh, I'm very much enjoying being back for sure.
yeah, yeah. It gave the high temperatures in Brazil gave me some inspiration to write a song about,
All
which you did
right.
in. Yeah, yeah,
We're gonna talk about that song. I would love to talk about that
yeah.
song. But yeah, let's start by getting right into it, I suppose. What's a logical first question perhaps would be what was it that made you decide to join the Unstoppable Songwriter, and perhaps you could get into, in relation to that, what the problem was, if indeed there was one, that you wanted to solve by joining the program.
Um, to answer the first question, what was it that made me decide to join it, to join you, to join the Unstoppable Songwriter was well the experience of writing in the workshop with writing that song and experiencing the possibilities that opened itself and the fun I had doing it and and learning about all the possibilities that made me uh, uh, want to know more, to understand what was happening, to understand what the difference was between borrowed chords and secondary dominance, and what that hocus pocus magic was all about. Because it was so easy to use those terms and to use those words and use those chords and all the possibilities. I was like, what is this all about? I need to know more because because I'm writing songs for so long and I don't know about this too much. And I knew a little bit about borrowed chords, but not just just a few possibilities, and not knowing, for instance, not knowing why they were called borrowed chords for a start. And that made me curious to know a lot more and to effectively use the possibilities you sketched in the, you lifted the veil a bit about those possibilities, and I wanted to look behind the veil, basically, and see what it was all about.
Mm.
That was like, it was a good opportunity to have a little bit of a, look behind the veil, and made me want to know more, basically. That was it. And I didn't experience it as a problem before that I needed to solve. I think a lot of well, I can speak for myself, but I think a lot of songwriters are very content with using the possibilities that they have in the diatonic vocabulary. Um, but there's so much more, and yeah, your program just lifts the veil and shows the world what's possible for songwriters, and it's very gratifying to experience that.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're talking about the playfulness that you brought to this. Like you're talking, you didn't really feel like you had a problem to solve. You felt like you had possibilities or options to explore.
Yeah,
And I think that is what really made you successful within the program. You really brought the right mindset into it. You weren't trying to fight any kind of demon or trying to, I don't know, defeat mediocrity, as it were, or whatever words you would put to it. It wasn't like a battle for you. It was more like a playful exploration. You were very childlike during the whole thing, and it, like, at least from my side, looking at you going through the program, it didn't feel like you were. It didn't feel like much of an effort for you. It felt more like you were having fun,
Yeah, it's just I enjoy talking about music, and yeah, working with music is just joyful anyway. So, and um, I'm very deep into listening and making music. So when I find someone who's also has the same kind of view and like you and wants to share about music, that makes it very joyful for me anyway. So no, and to learn, even to learn more. And there are not a lot of possibilities to experience knowing about all this stuff.
Mm.
So when I finally found this and experienced it was a very joyful experience. I didn't experience any demons or negativity around it. Only the little bit of anxiety going in. Like I didn't know what I was really going to experience beforehand. Obviously, you don't know, uh, and I didn't know if I would be good enough to to do all the stuff. I think a lot of people would would be a bit apprehensive, and especially if you know 3, 4 chords and you're going through a show like this. It's like, oh, what am I getting myself into? Is it too difficult for me? Uh, but but there's no need to be scared. Basically, so it's very you make it quite easy to learn. If you're
Mm.
open to experience, of course, you need to be open and curious and open yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. So what did you feel that was kind of different about the Unstoppable Songwriter, perhaps than what you've tried in the past when it comes to music theory? Like if you've tried, I don't know if you've
Oh,
tried many things
well,
before to
I
get into
had,
music theory. But yeah.
yeah, it's a good question. I had guitar lessons before and a very experienced teacher, obviously, and he tried to learn me some of the stuff that we also covered in the Unstoppable Songwriter. But I think the main difference is that you are very aware that you need to uh, teach music theory in a way that is a bit more easy for the average songwriter. Uh, that it's easier to understand it because it can be you can make it a whole more difficult abracadabra voodoo show and be all mysterious about it and but you know that you have to teach it the other way around. You have to make it easy. You have to make it accessible, and also one of the I think key points of you working with this um, material is that you want to make it emotionally available in a way that you can feel the theory.
Mm.
Like how does a raised four feel? How does the Lydian mode feel? How does the minor four chord feel? I don't know. And working with that, working through that, that's what music is really about. You know, emotion and conveying emotions to yourself and to the listener. So that I think that's what you're very thorough with that.
Nice.
With
Yeah. For anybody's information, I basically ask everybody who goes through the program to assign emotions consciously to all chord progressions and new chords that we go through, which yeah, you're referring to right now, Tim, is yeah. I mean, we get deeper into that in the program, but basically that's it. We really make sure that we're conscious about what it is that music makes us feel, and then we categorize it and build a little bit of an arsenal of usual suspects, perhaps, of chords that you can go back to again and again and again, and then you keep exploring and adding to it, and your vocabulary eventually just gets so large that nobody even notices that you've got a vocabulary. It just feels like
yeah.
you're playing around.
What it just when just thinking about is also that you start from the start. You start from the beginning. So obviously you start with the diatonic chords, but then when you throw in the borrowed chords, you start with what are borrowed chords anyway, and with all all the modes that my teacher, my guitar teacher, didn't start with. He just threw everything at me. Like, you can use this, blah, 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 and it goes way too fast. And when you just give me a schedule, what are we talking about? Just make it visual and start from the beginning, make it simple, give me the whole picture, and then it's easier to understand going through it. So that's also, because now I can just look up what are all the possibilities of forward chords within a certain mode or certain scale. I can just look them up any way I want to in every key. So that's making it easy for everyone. And so that's really I think important.
Yeah, it's really important to me to make it understandable and actionable immediately. Um, and I'm very glad you brought that up. I feel like a very thorough person. Like when I was when I was going through all this and kind of figuring out this system on my own, which I largely did without the assistance of music theory lesson at the time I was doing it, just because I wanted to be able to categorize and analyze the music I was hearing because it made me feel so strongly. And when I heard something that I didn't recognize, and it made me think, God, I got to know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a treasure hunt. So I'm glad that got across in the course.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave any stone unturned. We got to know all the little details. And to do that, like you said, you got to start from the very beginning. Got to start right from the top. What even is a scale? And then we end up at modulations.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Indeed.
So if you had to put it into one sentence, this is going to be a challenging one, but if you had to put it into one sentence, how would you describe the journey you took throughout the Unstoppable Songwriter? Where did you start? Where did you end?
Oh, you start at the beginning. Whatever that may be. Whatever that may be. That's very subjective, obviously. And you end up with everything at the end. Everything that you offer, and all the pillars that are the diatonic, the borrowed chords, secondary dominants, and modulations. Those are your tools, and you offer every kind of possibility around those tools. And it's opening up. Yeah, I'm using a lot of sentences, by the way. it's not one. But yeah, it's difficult. It's like it's like a treasure hunt, basically. Yeah, like I got this rusty tool, and I use it a lot, and it's very reliable. But you're offering the toolbox, like, well, there's this kind of this tool, and there's this one. This is really fancy, and you can do this and this and this. And that's kind of the story. Yeah.
I love that description. But in terms of like how you felt, how you felt towards your songwriting, how
Oh,
did it feel?
how does the emotional side of
Yeah.
it?
But that was good. That was great.
That's more the factual side. Yeah. Emotionally, it's like well, it gives you a lot more of confidence, lots more confidence and opportunity and positivity. Because I got a lot of more confidence out of working out all the covers we did every week. So in the past, I tried to be quick about it and look at all the chords up, look them up, and because I don't have a lot of time, so I just look up the song, look up the chords, and then play it. And now and when you have to work it out by yourself, it gives you a lot more confidence. Okay, I can do this, and it's not as hard as I thought it was. So, and if you do that for like 8 weeks, then you work at a lot of you work at 8 songs, and they're not always the easiest songs, at least for my part. And if you do an easy song, it's really really quick. It's like what, 5-10 minutes, and then you worked out the song if it's all diatonic chords. But it gives a lot of positive confidence to yourself, and knowing you have a full toolbox now.
Mm.
It's like
So basically, you'd
that's
say you feel more confident in your songwriting.
yes, but yes. I think because there's always the mystical part in songwriting, obviously the inspirational part, but you have a lot more ways to trigger your inspiration. At least that's how it works for me. If I have an interesting chord um, collection of chords, uh, and it easily triggers my imagination, and I come up with a melody. Uh, So if you got more possibilities of creating interesting chord progressions, there's, there's a whole lot more of inspiration possible. So you got to trust in yourself that it will come, because it will come. You regularly write, the inspiration will come. If you just have some interesting chords, it's a lot more easier to write songs.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, so essentially, like, it's both. Right now, we're talking about getting the inspiration in the first place, so that gets easier if you have a bigger harmonic vocabulary. You would agree, and then there's finishing the songs from the inspiration. How has that been for you, like before and after the program?
Uh,
Have you noticed a difference?
there's a lot more possibilities in finishing songs, basically, because finishing songs wasn't the hardest part for me, because I always wanted to finish a song, but now there's I can things I can throw in more easily, like, oh, let's throw in a borrowed chord here, and let's make it more interesting, and uh, working on an intro, maybe I can use a secondary dominant here, and put in the second chord as well, to make it a 2-5-1. Those kind of things. It's like it makes life a bit easier for a songwriter. So it makes it easier to finish a song, and it gives you feel more powerful in a way. So I don't have to work from a limited. I don't have to just use this rusty old tool that I've used so many times, like the scale of G. And I got my E minor, I got my D, and I got my C and my F, and that's you can write 100 songs in the progression, but
Mm.
you got a couple of more interesting chords you can throw in, and a nice
How
intro, and outro, and a bridge that can make a difference, and it makes life more
I
enjoyable.
mean, yeah, I've been seeing you put in the work, man, too, with that song you're working on currently. You've been gone through a few iterations
Yeah,
on the bridge, and
yeah,
I was like, man, every single one of them just made me go, damn, okay, this one's a level up. And then the next one came in, and I was like, damn, okay, another step up over here. And
yeah.
then I could really sense that you were using what you were learning, and you were using it so effectively too. I was really impressed by that. It's just so beautiful to see somebody put your teachings to work in such an effective way,
Mm.
because it's more or less exactly the way I intended it. It like really landed with you.
Mm.
It was very gratifying for me as a teacher, um,
Yeah.
to kind of see that result. So how about how do you feel about the quality of your songs? Uh, Talked about the quantity. How many of them are you finishing? How about the quality? Like what's
Oh, I think the, the song that the quality has gone up. Well, the funny thing is that, like, the Kiss Me Quick song, which I started as writing in the workshop, is a song that I would have never written, never ever would have written without the Unstoppable Songwriter. It was just impossible. I mean, there's a modulation. There's two modulations, um, going from minor to major. I've never done that before. Um, so and then the second modulation, going, well, one step up. Um, yeah, that's that's completely different from me. So that's that. I mean, that's spectacular from my my point of view. And the other song, um, "Agent of Belief," that I rewrote, uh, started out as a fairly simple kind of song, and then because I was so well, I was so busy with all the borrowed chords and all the secondary dominants that I just knew that when I would return to this song, which I wasn't too happy about because I thought it was a bit too simple. Uh, I could turn it around and make it more interesting, basically. Uh, and so that has gone from a 6 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. So definitely has gone up. And now I still have like a load of songs that are sort of finished. The basic structure is there, and I have to go back to them. And I'm almost worried that I'll have to rewrite a lot of songs because they're not too spectacular now. With the knowledge that I have now, and that I will have a lot of work to spend on them in a good way.
Mm, nice.
So yeah,
So you
yeah,
feel like you're gonna go back and rewrite a bunch of songs that you wrote before with the knowledge you've acquired.
yeah, yeah. Probably, yeah, because when I will play them, I will probably feel I need to tweak here and there. So I know there's more possible. I know because I know there's more possible. There's more possibilities, and I can just level them up uh, with the 1 or 2 steps.
Mm.
So but I'm for now I'm just finishing those 2 songs which we're talking about, and then I will slowly go back to the other ones, and then I'll see what I can do, what will happen. I will probably be a bit dissatisfied with some of my songs that I've previously written and have to rewrite a couple of those.
Mm.
But that's a luxury. It's a luxurious problem because well, I have a couple of songs to return to.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely. And I'd say it's important not to get lost in the perfectionism there
yeah,
because and this is kind of the importance of releasing songs as soon as you write them is that later on you're going to be better and then you're going to look back and be like, I don't want to release this anymore. This is not up to par with my standard now, and then
yeah,
you got to go back and rewrite them like you're saying, which is a great exercise. I'm so happy to hear that you're about to do that and you feel like you have the tools to do that. That's
yeah,
fantastic. Uh,
yeah.
but I'd say as well, like as a solid piece of advice, to not be afraid to release them as they
Okay.
are. If it
Yeah,
feels like it would be more fun for you to go ahead and write new songs as
yeah,
opposed to rewriting old ones,
yeah.
because that's going to be fantastic. And I mean, listeners want to hear the progression of an artist get better.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, so it's cool to release stuff that's if you think about the Beatles' first album, for example, versus their last, it's like their songwriting just like
Yeah.
all they could give their producer at the start was "Love Me Do."
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
which is a great song.
yeah, it's catchy,
But
but it's just the 1 and the 5 chord.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's it's fairly simple compared to A Day in the Life. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but also I'd say about your songs too, man. The Agent of Belief was fantastic before you started rewriting it,
yeah,
and now it's just gained an edge of sophistication that it didn't quite have before,
yeah,
from where I'm standing. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be cool to
yeah.
release both versions, perhaps.
Ah, yeah. Leave my audience in confusion. What is this? 2 versions about yeah,
Two versions, and one is whack.
yeah. One is the professor
Dude.
version and the one the student version. Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what people would think about that, actually. It
yeah,
would be a very
yeah,
fun experience.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's amazing. So we've talked about quantity, finishing the songs, which you were doing before the program, but now you're doing it with more options, and you're writing something that's perhaps a little bit more to your liking and has that kind of edge of sophistication.
Yeah.
What about getting coaching from me specifically? What was that like? I won't put any more on that question. I'll just give you that one.
Yeah. It's well, it's been very personal. Uh, Getting coaching from you is is it's not for you don't feel like a traditional old style teacher because you want to make it as accessible as possible. Uh, so it's easy getting lessons. Uh, it's more like lessons, not maybe the correct word. It's more like talking and, like a friend, very personal, just explaining things uh, more in a more personal way than traditional style teaching is. So it feels very accessible. I don't know if you're looking for anything else now.
No.
I mean, that's, yeah, it's basically that. Yeah, and it's easy to get extra information from you. You're very enthusiastic about providing any additional information, and well, like we said, it's been very playful working with the material, and it's been a joy just doing doing the work and receiving all the information. And also because it's very accessible through the Google Drive, I can always get access to it and uh,
What,
learn
what
and
did it
review.
did you feel like I understood you, perhaps like the way your character relates to your the music that you want to make, um, that kind of thing? Did you feel seen in that sense?
Uh, I think it will that goes almost automatically because the student, like was, has to pick four songs every week. So you pick your own songs to work with. And so you as a teacher get to know the student as well through the songs that I picked and the lessons I want to learn and the lessons I want to learn from my inspirations. So I think in that way it gets more the course gets more customized to
Mm.
the student.
Yeah, it's kind of built into the course. I was careful with
Yeah,
that because if you're going to learn music theory, you should be doing it with music that you want to make. Because music theory isn't useful unless you're actually making better music with it.
yeah,
Um, and to
yeah,
do that, you need to know what your influences are doing that
yeah,
is working for you, that you want to be able to kind of replicate or borrow a little bit and use in your own
yeah,
songwriting.
yeah. And it makes it easier to work with songs you pick yourself, obviously, because then you want to find out what the chords are about and how the music works.
Mm. Yeah, that's
So
that treasure hunt.
yeah, and it adds to the commitment that you as a student make to work with the material you provide and the lessons I have to learn.
Mm.
It gives great insights into the theory that's offered, and then the songs you work with, the combination of the two, uh, they amplify each other because you remember the lessons you learned from working at the songs. At least I did. Yeah. Like the song "Mars to Liverpool" from Liam Gallagher had a modulation friend in the chorus that wasn't very not too obvious, but it was there. So uh, that's a lesson that I'll never forget because I wasn't aware that was that was a trick. That's why it sounded the way it sounded. It sounded open. It sounded fresh and new, and wasn't I wasn't aware of that lesson. And even if I had worked at the song without the Unstoppable Songwriter, I wouldn't have known the trick behind the pick of the chords, why they picked those chords, because they were in C and D, if I remember correctly. and there was an overlap between those chords, but and certain chords weren't used, and then it would have been obvious there was a modulation, but now it wasn't that obvious, and that's what made it smart and sophisticated. And since then, I think I want to write a song like that too. So sometime, yeah, use that same trick in some way.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I don't think I have anything to add to that. That was pretty much precisely the kind of that was my view exactly. Use your influences, steal a little bit from them, and learn why it is that they sound as good as they do. You know, because
yeah,
you can't replicate it. I mean, you can. There's a chance that you'll land on it just by
yeah,
happenstance, and you'll find some chords that accidentally sound good in the same way that the Beatles do, or whoever your influences
yeah,
are. But obviously, clearly, the fastest way to do it is to study what your influences are doing, why it works, and then just consciously use it. And like you said, it's so inspiring when you find the treasure and you're like, oh, I can't wait to use this in my own songs.
yeah,
Like, whew, my songs are gonna get upgraded so hard right here. This is gold.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why didn't I know this before? It's like I'm in my 40s now. Why didn't I know this before? I've been writing songs for so long, and now I find out the use of modulations that way.
Yeah,
Well, thank you
yeah.
very
I've
much,
been listening to
Dominic.
the Beatles for so long, but I never
Yeah,
recognized that they were doing all this stuff in their songs. Like, damn, or
yeah,
Taylor Swift or whoever. Actually, scratch that. Not Taylor Swift, but a lot of artists who use interesting chord progressions. Sorry, Swifties. She
yeah.
doesn't. Um,
Oh, Taylor Swift's probably a diatonic kind of person. Let's put that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No shade.
No shame in
No
that.
shade. Okay, yeah, let's start moving this into the final couple questions here. Let's say
Sure.
hmm, oh, that's a good one. Have you achieved any specific songwriting milestones since joining the Unstoppable Songwriter?
Well, that one song, "Kiss Me Quick," has been a milestone in itself. Obviously, that's a very big one. Using two modulations in one song is very monumental. Monumental. So, but also it's a mindset. I think like this. You've opened up so many possibilities, uh, that I feel more equipped to uh, to go further in my songwriting uh,
Hmm.
career in that way. That's a milestone in itself too. So it's more importantly, it's the mindset.
Mm.
I think the
Like you
confidence
feel
is
empowered.
exactly empowered. Like there's not much. I don't feel there's much that can stop me now as a songwriter. Obviously, I still have to write songs, but there's this whole toolbox I can use if it gets stuck, or if I find that my songs are not good enough, or anything like that. And I think I have enough confidence in myself that I can overcome the the difficult chord choices I will make in the future.
Mm. Mm.
So I will be able to write songs with more exotic, more interesting chords, and make it more interesting for my audience in the end.
Mm. Mm. So you feel like not only did the program provide you with just the information that you needed, but also the confidence that came with knowing how to use that information. Like it was different from just, reading a theory book that tells
Mm-hmm.
you can do all of this stuff,
Yeah.
because we were actually doing it and I was making you doing it and I was keeping you accountable for doing it. And that gave you the confidence.
Yeah, and experiencing the possibilities by working out the songs and playing them and feeling them. Not only learning from a book, like you say, but also really applying the material and um, work, the exercise are like working with the chord changes and feeling what they're about. And if you do that, I never experienced that before in a way. I mean, you experience your songs and you feel things, but just working with two chords, playing them over and over again, it opens up a new perspective on the chord change in itself. Like, oh, if I really sit with this chord change, I can I can see I can see a view. I can see what the songwriter combined with the lyrics they're using. I can see what they're trying to say more clearly. I can feel it more clearly, and so using the material in such an intense way, like we've been together for 8 weeks doing the chords. It's also because you're doing it in 8 weeks, and it's a very intense period that you have to work with the stuff, and then it's a positive thing that you work with the material so intensely for this couple of weeks that you really make it your own if you do a bit of the work like you did. Because I couldn't do everything. That was what I also after the first week when we started to work on borrowed chords, I couldn't work out all the exercises because it was way too much for me to do. And you gave me permission to make it a bit more simpler and restrict myself. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's important to have somebody to tell you what's important that you do right now and what is okay if you skip, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
but that's also a positive thing because you also can come back to the material and still do the exercises and learn even more.
Yeah, exactly. There's more in there than you need, basically, so you can keep, like, there's enough study material there for a long time after the program ends that you feel empowered to do because you're able to do it now. Like you were put through the boot camp and now you have the power.
Yeah, that's the correct word. Yeah.
Okay, what would you say is your favorite part of the Unstoppable Songwriter?
That's a difficult one. Because there's so much to enjoy. It's a really hard one to answer.
You can name a couple favorite parts.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, just working out, picking out a song and finding out which song you chose for me to work on. It's like a little surprise show. And woohoo, we're gonna do this one. Okay. And why you picked that one? I was always curious to know. And just learning the lessons from those songs, and then obviously writing a song with two modulations in it has been a pleasure, and also experiencing that from yourself, like, what am I doing here, really? It's like, oh, that's much more possible than I thought beforehand, and experiencing yourself in a way, experiencing myself, like, oh, I'm learning all this new stuff, and I wonder what it will bring me in the future, and what possibilities open themselves. Also, it's almost kind of scary because it's a change. It's a big change to learn all this stuff and opening yourself to all this material when you've written so long from diatonic chords and a few borrowed chords. That it's kind of scary almost, but also positive, obviously, because of the possibilities it offers. So, did I answer the question?
Definitely, yeah. Maybe I just ask you really quickly as a follow-up on that one, and then we'll get to the last question. Like, in terms of the material, what was the favorite in terms of, the slides that are used in the theory weeks versus the action worksheet versus the theory worksheet versus the harmonic vocabulary diary? If you had to pick one of those.
Well, it starts with the theory worksheet. I was very excited to know about all the Bauer chords that were possible. Also knowing why they're called Bauer chords, and just the schedule you gave with all the possibilities, and then knowing in a theory worksheet about secondary dominance, and whoa, that's a whole world of possibilities that offers itself there. And it starts from there, the theory worksheet, and then you work from that, and applying the knowledge from the theory worksheet in the songs we covered and we worked out. That's been the key for me. That's been the motor, gaining the knowledge that you offer. Those two together, because basically I only had the time to review the information you gave in the theory worksheets and the sheets, which are very overlapping, of course, and then working out the songs. And the combination of those two has been very fruitful. And then that's the core for me. And then the action worksheet is working from that material, working further. So I think those two were my favorites in the end. Yeah.
Nice. So like the interplay of learning the theory and the theory worksheet and kind of going through the exercises to get that into the system.
Yeah.
And then seeing how you can apply it in songwriting exercises, which I give you in the action.
Also getting a complete view of the theory on Bauer chords, a complete view on the theory of secondary dominance. Like, it's all there. I might not understand all of it right now. It's a lot. All the extensions, the 6, the 9, the 11, and 13, and that's well, we talked about it. That's the extra information you can. Maybe I can apply in a few years from now. But knowing just the basics, like what is the use of secondary dominance, like that's only just that is mega. You know, just you can use it in so many instances.
And like it feels good to you to have that overview. So even if you can't, even if you haven't internalized all the information and you haven't gotten to understand or use all of it yet, it just feels good to you to kind of have the overview and know that it's all there, because it is all there.
Yeah. I have to rely on that. Yeah. It's probably all there because it was a lot.
It's definitely in there. I always recall my client James calling it the Bible on music theory. That's one of my favorite things anybody has ever said about the Unstoppable Songwriter.
It is a Bible because I can always rely on that. I can always go back to it, and if you understand the basics of that, it's mega. Yeah.
Thou shalt not apply a major seventh on a dominant chord. It's like, okay, yeah. Last concrete question. Would you recommend the Unstoppable Songwriter, and if yes, why?
Absolutely not. No, that's after all this talk.
All right, we've had a good stream. Taking a break.
Well, I think so. Yeah. Anyway, I was just joking, of course, but yeah, obviously, it's it's an investment in terms of finances. I don't know. I cannot look into everybody's wallet and see what's possible for you. But if you think about it in a way of that it's a very financially anyway, how long you can apply this theory. That's basically a lifetime of theory. So in that way, it's very cheap. But obviously, people don't know that beforehand. So and it's also the way that you use it and you deal with it personally that makes it cheap in the end. If you keep using it, keep developing yourself, then it's not even that expensive, although it's a lot of money. But it's a good choice. It's a good investment in yourself. I mean, there's so much that you can gain from it, and that I gain from it. And there's so much to learn. You basically learn about the pillars of songwriting. I think it is a couple of pillars. The diatonic chords, the bar chords, the modulations. Do I forget one? Uh, are the pillars of basic of Western songwriting. So as a songwriter, it's good to know about those important basics, basically, that a lot of people are not very aware of, but can learn so much from.
Yeah, so it sets you apart really easily, basically. Uh, but
Sorry?
so it kind of sets you apart to know that because not a lot of people are applying it. But in any case, you felt like it was worth it.
Yeah, yeah. It's very worth it. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry for the use of many words, but it's very worth it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, obviously very worth it. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's I just feel like I scratched the surface, and still have to work through a lot of it. But already that kind of small beginning has been very enjoyable and very worth it.
Mm, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Thanks for sharing. So yeah, any final words? Any last thing you want to share? Anything you feel like you want to say about the Unstoppable Songwriter, working with me, being in the Facebook community? Whatever, anything you'd like to share?
Well, I think if anyone is watching that feels anxious about doing this, um, isn't sure if it's worth the investment, um, it's definitely worth the investment. You don't have to be scared. Uh, Tumi will make it easy for you, and he will guide you through this, and you will learn so much from it, and you will never regret it, I'm sure. Unless you're very negative, you don't want to learn, but then you wouldn't apply anyway. So if you're open to the experience, there's so much you can gain from it.
Mm.
So I think that's what made me anxious to join, because it's a fair amount of money and you don't know what you're going to get, but it's very worth it, and it's there's no need to be afraid.
There's no need to be afraid. I couldn't think of better words to end this interview on. It's a fantastic note to end on.
Yeah,
So yeah, thank you so much, Tim, for the kind words. Thank you for taking the time,
you're
and
welcome.
thank you for investing in yourself in the Unstoppable Songwriter. That was, like you said, it is quite an investment, of course. I'm so glad that you felt like it was worth it, and I'm also glad that you did your part in making it worth it for yourself by showing up for yourself in the course, which obviously anybody needs to do if they want to learn anything. Um, so yeah, it's just super duper grateful for you, man. I'm very grateful to have you here on the live. Very grateful that I got to teach you what I know about music theory. Like I would talk about music theory with anybody, really, all day, all day. I could do it forever, 24/7. But to talk about it with people who are interested in learning and value what you have to say and apply it and are just freaking cool people too. It's quite the blessing. So, and getting paid for it. That's
Yeah.
mind blowing that I get to do this. So, thank you for providing me with that experience. That was
You're welcome.
fantastic. And
Was
that was
quite
very
enjoyable.
brave of you. Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
So,
I hope everybody enjoyed the talk, even though it was quite long in my explanation sometimes. Uh, I just want to be thorough and really think about the words I was using. Yeah.
yeah. I thought your answers were fantastic, man. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you for being thorough. Like
Yeah.
seriously, some people don't say enough, uh, and I think in these instances, saying too much is better than saying too little. Not
Oh,
implying that you said too much by any stretch of your imagination. That was
good.
perfect.
All right. Cheers.
All right, man. Cheers. I wonder if I can throw you off the live, or if you need to leave it on your own. Is there
I
a...
have no idea. I'll try. Okay.
Okay. Didn't get to say bye again, but that was Tim, my dear friend and client, who, within my program, the Unstoppable Songwriter. That was such a lovely chat. I'm still kind of laughing and smiling after that one. That was fantastic. Um, so if you didn't know, there is a discount, a huge discount on the Unstoppable Songwriter throughout this week. More info on exact pricing, etc., on my Instagram page and my content throughout the week. So keep your eyes on my page to know what's up, know what's going on. Now you should have a pretty good idea of what the experience is like within the program. But if you want more specifics, I have a whole page set up where you can go through all the technical details. If you have any questions, then of course just reach out to me at any time in the DMs. I'd be happy to answer. And I have four spots open, out of the six that were available. Two are already gone for the next round, which starts next week. So it's first come, first serve. The discount is live until Saturday. Sorry, Saturday the discount ends. So that's the time you have to sign up. I can't, however, guarantee that those four spots are going to remain open since like I said, it's going to be first come, first serve. So if you want to make sure you want to lock in the price, you want to make sure you get the discounted price right now. I don't know if I'll ever offer this kind of deal on the program ever again, so this might be the only chance you get to do this at this price. Then go book a clarity call right now. It's okay if the clarity call happens after the sale ends. You still get the price if you book the clarity call within the sale period. You still lock in that price, so don't worry about that. But please do book the earliest clarity call available to you on my schedule, since that is going to make it more likely that the spots will still be open at the time you have your clarity call. Because like I said, I don't know when they're going. First come, first serve. I really can't take any responsibility for how fast they go. So if you're interested, reach out to me right now in the DMs. If you really don't want to miss out, if you know that you want in, if you need a little more info, I can send you all the info you need. If you have any questions, ask them. And questions, by the way, are perhaps best answered on a clarity call. Booking a clarity call is in no way binding. You don't have to invest in the course if you jump on a call with me. It's just an easy way to get your questions answered, to get everything into alignment, to get to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and if it feels in alignment to you, to make this investment in yourself and your songwriting. And I always love to talk with you guys. So whether this is your time to invest, whether this is your time to be brave and put some money into your passion, into growing in what it is that you really want to do with your life, what it is that you love most, whether or not this is that time for you, I want you to know that I really appreciate your time coming on this live with us here, and I'm just so grateful to get to do this, to provide this space, help people out with their songwriting, both through my content, through my free workshops and masterclasses, and through my paid programs. It's all such a blessing to me. Like I said, I could talk about songwriting and music theory all day without getting paid for it. I'm in the dream position. I'm on absolute cloud nine just getting to do this. So thank you so much for joining the live today. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. I hope it answered some of your questions, perhaps, about the Unstoppable Songwriter. And above all, like I said, whether or not this is your time or not to invest in yourself, to work with me, know that I appreciate you for being here, for giving your time and attention to this project we've got going here with the Unstoppable Songwriter, etc., and all the content. Thanks for following along. I appreciate and see all of you. You all have a voice, and you deserve to be heard. and the world deserves to hear you. Signing off. Mwah. Find me in the DMs, guys. Much love.